Welcome back to Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time.
Part 7.
So now yeah, part 7, sorry. Now that we clear the passageway from the boss, so let's break this wall. There we go. And let's see what's awaits us next, after gaining back some health. Again, the prince manages to heal all his wound, but just by chugging water down his throat.
Ah,
I wish it
water.
was that simple in real life.
We already did that, Jova.
Nectar of the Gods?
Yeah,
I
anyway,
forgot, what
there you
game
go.
was that from?
King's Quest, yeah, King's Quest 5.
I'm going in.
There you go.
Don't! Wait for me!
But she didn't. But at least there you go. Now we're in the yeah, there you go.
The food still wafted from the kitchen. Scant hours ago, these tables had been filled with men, joking in camaraderie over their evening meal. Just as my father's men do back home in Saraf, at ease because.
And this introduces us to the captain type of enemy.
There's a lot of monologuing during the.
It's the prince. He's basically reflecting upon his situation. Remember, this game starts with the prince narrating this tale on someone. We don't know who this person is yet. But here's the thing. So he's essentially narrating the key parts as we play along the game. This is a gigantic flashback, basically. But this also makes sense when it comes to the priest himself, because at first, when he's in the tutorial sequence, when his father's army pillages the Maharaja's capital, he wants to impress his father. He's a bit of a childish figure that just looks for recognition. But then after the zombie apocalypse starts, he talks to himself, basically, kinda, to not going mad, trying to not going mad from the loneliness and the desperation of the situation.
It's an ultra super coping mechanic.
In later games, the narration will either be stopped, will either be absent, or done by different characters, so this thing is just for this game. Alright, again, we need to wait until the prince puts back his weapon to understand that every enemy has been dispatched. So for now, we just need to endure a bit more with these guards, which I absolutely hate, because again, the blue guards, you cannot perform the jump attack on them. So you have to rely either on the stun attack, which will consume a bit of sand meter, and you don't gain extra sands, or you have to do some more acrobatics on the wall, which I start to do later on. Or you have to blindside. The captain instead can do that sweeping move more frequently than the blue guards, or can actually parry a lot of your attacks. So the stun move is actually very recommended against it. There we go. Again, Farah will keep supporting you by shooting arrows, but you also have to check on her health bar. Thankfully, she doesn't get too much into trouble for the rest of this run, but if you're not careful, she can get really fast into trouble. There we go. That glow that you see means that an enemy that's down can actually is about to come up, so you need to be extra quick in order to dispatch him by absorbing into the dagger. There we go. So now we clear the enemy. Let's see what this next premonition tells us, I guess, and then we can clear the room and proceed forward. Nope. Yeah, first and foremost, I was just seeing if there was extra passages or extra water, like there is right now. So here we go.
Nectar of the. Wait. Ugh.
You know, this reminds me.
Besides, it wouldn't
water.
You wouldn't want to know this because the Persian folklore mythology is kind of depressing when you think about it. There you go. We need to jump there, pull some poles. There you go.
You know, the whole water thing
So
reminds.
basically, the game is telling you how to get past the section.
Sorta, but sometimes it will try to trick you, so you don't have to always follow what it says.
It's a hint.
Well, at least it's not like the PC version of Spider-Man 2, where it gives you a literal diagram of how to beat the bosses.
Oh no, Dr. Connor's class.
I cannot wait to tackle the PC version of Spider-Man 2. Although
Help, Spider-Man!
I'm not. Although,
He stole the guy's pizza.
although, since I'm gonna be handling the console version of Spider-Man 2, I guess I'll leave that up to someone else to handle the PC version.
Is that different?
Not me. I'm already.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
already doing the Xbox version of the first. By that 2002
The
game.
Spider-Man
Twibs,
2002.
we need you to handle Spider-Man 2 on the PC.
And not just Enter Electro, the other Spider-Man.
But my
Not to
disk
mention-
drive doesn't work.
I'm also doing all 2003 anyway, so I've already got my share of Marvel game.
I'm
Alright,
surprised
so
that there's
we
not a
need-
Captain
now, there we
America
go.
video game.
Oh, trust me, I'm still miffed that we still haven't. The problem now is that first Avenger came out in 2011, and by the time 2011 came around, licensed games were have
Dying,
become
yeah.
It's
a shame
weird
because,
because we
because
still
of
sort
that
of.
we never got a proper.
At least movie tie-in games. Licensed games continued, just not in the way one may think.
Hey guys, how about that Jack and Daxter movie tie-in game? Which was actually
And
more
I'll be
of.
honest, Jova. I'm not quite sure why Deji was so pissed that that Sly Cooper movie being cancelled.
Actually, it's not cancelled. They
Became a
still...
TV show.
Wait.
No,
hold on.
there's also the TV show, but they say the movie is not officially cancelled, just postponed. Yes, it may be just a double meaning for telling that the movie is...
Well, it's from the
technically
same company that made Ratchet and Clank, so either way, I don't care.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I mean,
Sony.
it's a Sony produced animated film. We already know what to expect.
I just
then-
don't get it, Sony.
Again, guys, you keep getting mixed up. Yes, it's a Sony IP, but other than the fact that Sony are the ones that own Ratchet and Clank, the game IP, Sony Pictures have nothing to do with the production.
No.
You
We're
attribute,
talking about the
so-
fact that it's an animated movie under Sony.
Not just that, but you apparently didn't understand what I said. I said Sony produced, as in they were still involved as producers, executive producers, and all that shit, because they had to license out the IP, and they were the ones who actually told the studio that made it to make it. So it's not they were the ones who technically started the project. I mean, even though Level 5 made Rogue Galaxy, it doesn't change the fact that it's a Sony IP.
Basically, Dwibs, to put it like this, almost every animated movie under Sony these days has had something bad happen to it. Even the better
And that's
ones.
sad because, again, it would be natural to think about that having a couple of cartoon APs, Sony will take advantage of them and doing animated products based on them. But the end results so far have been so lackluster or insulting.
Mm-hmm.
And one may want to think why.
Really, the saddest thing though is that out of all the video game movies that were released in 2016, I think the Ratchet and Clank one was the least bad.
Well, to be fair, the Ratchet and Clank
Well,
movie.
they're Assassin's Creed, I think.
And Warcraft.
That reminds
Oh,
me.
God,
That
right.
reminds me. Wasn't the Ratchet and Clank movie actually based off of the video game
It's
that came out?
supposedly a retelling of the very first game, but they did so many
Well,
weird
both of them are,
changes to
Jova.
it.
It's not even so much that, Jova. The Ratchet and Clank 2016 is kind of a cross-media thing. Both the movie and the game are tied as like two parts of the same project, in the sense that the game
Not
has.
complete. The game is essentially a remake of the very first.
Yeah, but the game has.
But
But the game
but
has
mo-
cutscenes
well,
that are literally just clips from the movie.
yeah, it's kind of like the Toy Story 2, the Disney video games for the PlayStation. They kind of tell the same story in a different way, but you get cutscenes from the movie itself.
Yeah, which is weird because, I think a lot of people are gonna say that the game was the more full experience.
Another cue that you may get when doing your acrobatic puzzle is that when you are about to climb down a ledge that leads you nowhere, like into a bottomless pit, Farah will actually gasp in fear, so that's your cue that you're doing something wrong. So pay attention also to the sound design.
It's
of
a
the
nice
game.
audio cue.
Yeah.
So so basically this game is is something that that Hell
Sorry, can you repeat that, Leaves?
Hell that
Hellfire?
the new Ninja Theory game.
Hellblade Dweebs. Isn't it that difficult to pronounce?
I forgot the name.
It's one single word.
I forgot it.
Whatever. What was about it, Dweebs?
I was gonna say, listening out for audio cues. That's like what's
that's what I told you the other day about it. Yeah.
Game.
Basically, in that game, due to the character's nature of being a bit psychotic due to story reasons, you constantly hear voices. Now, obviously, it's a sign of madness and everything, but in combat, this can actually prove useful to you because not only they tell you hints of the strategy that you need to adopt, but sometimes they may tell you, oh, look behind you or watch out. That's a cue that someone is about to ambush you, so you can turn around quickly and prevent the attack or counter. That's interesting. Again, although I haven't played the game or saw it myself completely, so I cannot judge it entirely, but knowing Ninja Theory, I'm going a bit cautiously.
Yeah, for good reason.
And I died.
No!
Thankfully I have the time rewind.
Maybe you can reverse time, remember?
Exactly.
This is the story of how I died.
Oh no.
And then came back to life because,
Cats.
That's TV Tropes actually describes the situations you can get in a room actually in a very hilarious way, because due to the time you can, if you have enough orbs, you can actually abuse kind of like of a time reverse mechanic, and you can still die repeatedly. And this ties into the prince's narration. So you have to think, when the prince is going ADHD, say, oh, so I entered the room and I immediately died to a spike trap. But actually that's not what happened. I rewinded back the time and tried to go forward. But instead, this time I got caught by a pole. No, wait, that's not gonna happen. Let me think about it.
This reminds me of Doctor Strange's climactic, quote-unquote, bargaining with Dormammu. Dormammu,
Yeah.
I've come to bargain. Blah! Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Blah! No, come to... Wait. No, we've already done this before.
I've brought you a little thing from my dimension. This is time. Endless loop time.
There you go. Also, another thing that you can take advantage is enemy-friendly fire, so sometimes they can attack each other. Go ahead, Leaves.
Joe, I meant to ask you, have you ever played, aside from DMC, have you ever played any of Ninja Theory's other games?
Sorry to say. Oh, well, okay, maybe I have, but if I have, I've never really known it to be this. What else have I done?
Ebony Sword on the PS3 is a Sony IP exclusive. Enslaved Odyssey to the West, an Namco Bandai IP, the platform, and DMC Devil May Cry.
Okay, I've only done DMC.
Which version?
The Dante version.
No, he's talking about the original for PS3 and Xbox 360, or the special edition, definitive edition on the
Sadly,
PlayStation
only
4 or Xbox One.
Sadly, only the original. I might maybe get the newer version because I hear that that's closest to the traditional Devil May Cry style, and you can actually play as Dante instead of Dante.
Not just that, it's just, well, not exactly, Joe, but there are costumes that are actually more similar, but the character is still the same. Here's the thing, the gameplay has been tweaked, and thanks also to the frame rate, it plays much more closely to a Devil May Cry, traditional Devil May Cry game.
That sounds good, I guess.
You still have to, you still have to bear the very shitty plot.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about how I'm going to. I was just because my plan was I started untouched as it was originally made in 2013, but then as the game goes on, I tweak stuff and add more, tweak stuff here and there.
Hey, that'll work even better if it turns out that this is Devil May Cry 5 coming on. Sure, go ahead with that.
Yeah,
right.
Start it as it originally was, then tweak it as we go on.
For now,
including even changing the character models.
The trick of his room is that you have to collaborate. Once again, you have to collaborate with Farah in order to raise the platform with both of you on it, or at least on other parts of it. So you have to pull a lever here, for example. Farah will go to the other side and pull her own lever. Then both of you will get up. and so on until you reach the top. It's
Oh,
an
no, no, no.
interesting single-player collab
I
puzzle.
see how this works.
Pull the
Try
leather,
pulling yours
Prince.
There we go. I
Why
would
do
like
they
to know
even
why
have that
they had the
leather?
Jova, remember, the other one died and she doesn't have the Sands of Time, so...
There we go. Now, there we go. We need to move her like that.
Where'd the sound effect go?
Sometimes they just don't happen. Keep in mind also, Dweebs, these first they wanted to create an atmospheric situation where it's very quiet until, for example, combat. But at the same time, well, these were the years where Ubisoft still did not have that much popularity and money with them, so they couldn't afford the super triple A budget games.
I know, but they could at least add some sound effects.
And there may be
Budget.
also the slight chance that some effects are entirely missing from this HD collection.
I mean, imagine if a Final Fantasy game were like this.
Ubisoft works in weird and mysterious ways, Dwibs.
Well, Dwibs, the thing is, Dwibs, I mean, in order to try to compensate for the fact that the Luminous engine is troublesome and Final Fantasy 15, let's compare it
sorry,
to...
let me say something quickly. Here's another thing. As the story progresses, the prince, strangely enough, removes pieces of his clothes. Don't ask why. Go ahead.
Huh.
He'll be naked at the end of the game.
No, but it's like Jacob in Twilight.
No, this is not. What was that Bible game that nerd reviewed?
It's not the porn version of
Anyway, you were saying, Pedro?
Well, the thing is, there's like sometimes constraints force you to make some sacrifices in the same way that Final Fantasy 15. Comparing Final Fantasy 15 to Final Fantasy 13, for example, Final Fantasy 13 when it came out in 2010 basically was the benchmark for graphics, specifically on the PS3.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15, on the other hand, even though Square has always been known to be like the company that always pushes graphics forward, Final Fantasy 15 doesn't exactly do that at all. I mean, Uncharted 4 looks miles better than Final Fantasy 15. Don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy 15 looks good. It's just that it's not the graphics standard creator that Final Fantasy used to be back in.
Wait, are we talking about 15?
Sometimes constraints force you to make some sacrifices, and the graphics in 15 had to be sacrificed in terms of, and it made for a better game
But
in
the
general.
end result
anyway, so.
still looks appealing.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Ironic
Now
because
Farah, she's gonna use that manhole there and sorta, and she's gonna open the door on the other side. There we go. Go ahead.
That and open world games cannot ever look as good as linear games.
Unless they're very barren like Mad Max, but here you're literally sacrificing almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, Warner Bros., despite being, going strong in terms of imposing themselves in the game industry these recent years, they started to have some very nasty habits recently, particularly also microtransactions. Not just that, Joe, but not just that, Joe. Actually, not necessarily DLC, microtransactions in terms of treating their games almost like they're free-to-play, even though they're full retail $60 price.
don't forget Arkham Knight's controversial DLC prices that made the game.
Yeah, but it started also with other titles like Mortal Kombat X.
Fighting Fox the Phoenix's family.
They're actually
they look
EBCs,
like storks.
They're actually EBCs. They're traditional birds from Middle East and Egypt.
Tio, you fool! You killed the stork from Yoshi's Island. Now what do we do?
Oh no.
Well, crud, I guess Nintendo's gonna need a new mascot.
Yeah.
Now the bridge collapses randomly. Look out. Okay.
I love how the bridge collapsed like a pile of Legos that someone punched.
That's cutscene rendering. They basically programmed each piece singular and they just plastered them together almost with glue. Anyway, there you go. There's a secret here you can get. And let's see what the next vision tells us.
You know, so far I haven't really seen much of anything of this that resembles the movie.
That's well, what does that tell you?
That Mike Newell didn't learn from his pacing issues from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
And
That and the fact that the movie is about as resembling to the games as Dragon Ball Evolution is similar to Dragon Ball.
Well, there's parkour, like this one.
Dweebs, there's parkour also in YouTube videos.
By your
so
logic,
does that mean that Sonic? Oh God, I was about to make that joke.
Joe had the exact same idea. By your logic, Sonic Lost World is the new Prince of Persia game.
Although, hey, Roger Craig Smith, Sonic Lost World, Assassin's Creed 2.
As everyone, well, I know it's talking about Sonic, so there is bound to be. Oh, and I died. But have there ever been already fan arts with the Sonic dressed as an assassin?
Yes.
With the white cape and everything.
Specifically as Ezio, because you know.
Roger Craig Smith. That's exactly why I asked.
Yep,
All
there
right,
have been.
Here we need to be a bit creative. We go down with these tubes, and we basically take this secondary route that is formed with the collapse of the bridge, so we can go through the other side and open another door for Farah to pass in.
Now we're in familiar territory. This is kind of like the post 2006 and Tomb Raider and Uncharted games.
And here's an interesting thing: you can use the wall jump if the distance is long enough to actually jump down through walls like these that are maybe too high and will kill you with falling damage. But you can use this technique to actually get down relatively easily and without taking any damage whatsoever. Problem is, this platform is collapsing, so we need to move. Gotta go fast. And I died. God.
Oops.
Here's the thing, there is a trophy achievement for this game to win it without rewinding the time like less than 20 times or something, which is extremely hard to do unless you want to keep constantly seeing game over. Okay. Yes, we get it, Farah.
What?
Right.
What was that, Farah? I couldn't hear.
Also, pay attention because in a bit the prince will start again monologuing about himself and what he thinks about Farah.
I am the greatest prince there ever was. But again, that's no surprise. I'm voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, after all.
Stay there.
There we go.
Okay,
and what
this
we need
might.
to do instead go to the other side. There we go, of where there was the other bridge, at least, and get from here down and oh, and I died again. Sometimes the hit detection for these things the prince can grab onto can be a bit dodgy, but it only happens occasionally. It never been a complete issue all the time. Also, if I recall correctly, those balconies also use some a bit. Oh, listen.
Direct me to the baths, please. Well, thank you. Don't mention it. I used to be a bath attendant back when I was alive.
Uh-oh.
I'll meet you at the baths. She orders me around as if I were a servant. It's my own fault. With women, you need to show them you're in charge right from the start, or they'll walk all over you.
You do?
To indulge it. Probably because I felt sorry for her. Well, it stops now. From now on, she'll have to toe the line. That is, assuming I can find her.
Go get her,
Okay,
Tiger.
moving on.
What's with the
They're the birds. Basically, this next room, as you have to do only with the prince, you have to open that door there, but in order to do so you have to activate some gates that will lead you to the lever that opens the main door. However, we're gonna have to deal that mostly in the next part. For now, I'm just gonna get to the save point, to see the vision and save there. There we go. Oof. And let's see the vision. What it tells us the future.
Ooh.
Wonder if the vision's gonna be he dies a lot.
Sometimes it happens in the visions. Again, it's one of the things that troll you. And Fairy standing there awkward.
Done.
Okay.
I'll start the story from here next time.
Alright, as I mentioned in the next part, we'll open here this door and proceed towards, I think, the caves of the palace. Alright, see you then.
See you then.
See ya.
So yeah.